A lot of nightmares that we had to get through. There was the whole credit nightmare. Basically, pretty much what a bunch of salesmen did basically is they sold. Well, the first thing that they did is they got a commission, a 30% commission on sales, and that applied, just like cards or something like that. Or I don't think it was 30%. It might have been 10% or something. I don't know. It was a lot though. It depend. I think it was 30% on the actual price or the actual cost of the machine, not the sales price or something like that. Or I forget how it was worked, but it was worked out so they get their money first, but they get real money basically. And pretty much and I just make up the difference in basically whether or not people make payments, or whatever. I think they had to put up a fair amount of money, at least half the cost of the machine or something like that. Anyway, though, but these machines really don't cost that much to make, and you can make quite a lot of them fairly quickly, fairly easily. It's not like making a car. And there was actually like there's getting that into a like no one could own cars before we had credit because no one you can't save up that much money. Anyway, and it gets into the whole credit fiasco of basically a lot of people buy things on credit and then they lose their job or they don't have enough money or they don't spend their money on the actual item, and we have to go take it back or just say whatever. And basically most things are made so cheaply that they're within the actual cost of the thing where you're actually paying for the machine itself and not just and the credit is just the profit or whatever or something like that. We tried to work it out like that basically, but the salesman got like some percentage, like 5% or 2% right off the bat, and then got a little bit more later on. Not that much more though. Anyway, though, and there's all these nightmares that happened where some people tried to do a lot of things, or at least Zachary did. Tried to work it out, where basically he was rich. Like I said, Zachary had paid for a whole bunch of killings. Zachary Alpha Romeo Male, basically Bill Gates, pretty much. He typed in the computer to make his father rich, and then basically tried to start investing in things and all that other kind of stuff. And I forget exactly where it involves because you also have psychotic Nixon running around basically. But basically he edited a thing, and I think his idea was to make enough money where he'd pay it back. I don't really know exactly the details of it. I only had a basic knowledge of basically what was going on with a few of the things that were happening in the world. Where basically this one kid had basically made his father rich, but it was fake money, basically. And then he had paid a whole bunch of hitmen or a whole bunch of hired trained killers to go kill people. And then after they did that, after they killed those people, they came back to him expecting to get paid. And of course, he didn't really have any money. It just looked like he did. Um, anyway, though, so he didn't. They wanted cash, and he couldn't get that much cash, or sorry, that I don't really know exactly what the deal was. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on between 1940 and 1950 and 1960, including basically a war in Cuba that no one even knew about. Um, and a bunch of other stuff, that was happening, so I mean, worrying about exactly who was getting credit and exactly where the credit was going was the least of my worries when basically I had to worry about like hitman squads running around the planet as well as people just basically walking into car dealerships and pretty much killing everybody and then driving away with all the cars or half the cars or a third of the cars, which happened a lot between 1920 and 1940 or 1950. So, and exactly who was responsible for that, whether it was Al Capone or Two Tone Tommy, um, which the way he told it was well, he could only play two tones on a kind of keyboard or whatever, or his gun only had two positions, semi-automatic and automatic. I don't really know um, exactly what the deal was. You have to ask some people who actually knew Two Tone Tommy. Um, he was a real person, of course. And the two tone was basically he had ordered a bunch of two tone cars from basically Europe, white on top and then a different color on the bottom, maybe black or something. I don't really know. Yeah, anyway, the Renault manufacturing company, they painted cars or dipped cars in two different colors. So anyway, so you could have one color on top and one color underneath. So that was Two Tone Tommy basically. Some guy running around with a gun, basically trying to get money or whatever, and then going to Europe buying cars, and then not really having enough money. Basically, he got his cars, and his people got their cars, but nobody else got their cars. As he basically just said, "Sue me or come kill me, whatever." And he was whatever, some guy with a Tommy gun or a machine gun, basically. Yeah, whatever. And I don't really care. There was this big nightmare that was going on all over the world between 1910 and 1920, basically. The roaring 20s, as they say, where people were getting gunned down every day. I was basically, pretty much. Anyway, I don't really know. I really don't know what the deal was. It wasn't really that bad everywhere. That was just a couple different places where gangsters or hitmen basically were actually filming their attacks on banks as well as people. They would actually have a cameraman to film it. So anyway, I don't know who's responsible for that or what the deal was exactly, as they filmed bank robberies, actual real bank robberies and stuff like that. Like I say, you also have Nixon out there running around, and basically Jimmy Carter, pretty much, and basically a whole bunch of people from Harvard and Yale on steroids running around with machine guns. Anyway, between 1940 and 1950 in Europe. And basically, doing the Brotherhood, which is basically just Nixon. Like I said, Republicans and Democrats and the Brotherhood, which is basically a frat group, pretty much, that was either at Harvard or Yale or something like that. I don't really know. And basically they were going up against the real governments, which is basically me and my governments, my Germany and my Russia and my China. And basically getting killed, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that they're getting killed because they had motorcycles and machine guns, and my people had tanks and basically very powerful weapons, including Gatlings. So mostly they just terrorized the citizens and the towns. They really couldn't do all that much when it came to actually raiding my sites, my bases, because pretty much they would attack with about 30 people, and my people all had guns and stuff like that, so you go around a corner or you blow through a checkpoint, and then you go around a corner and there's a cannon there, that fires automatic shells, basically. And so there's a lot of cheap $300 cars that were smashed and destroyed, in Europe and all over the place, where they ran through a checkpoint and then came around that corner, and then there it is, cannon. It goes, and they die, and then a reporter shows up and takes a picture of it. As they went down the wrong road, like they'd say in the 50s. Well, what happened to them? Well, they went down the wrong road. They didn't mention that they blew through a checkpoint and then went down the wrong road, and then went around a corner, trying to raid a house or trying to raid a factory or a warehouse or something. And ran right into, basically, it's an ambush. No, that cannon's been there about 20 years or 10 years. You just didn't know about it. Anyway, yeah. Because all my bases had serious protection. I mean, we built tanks and machine guns and everything else. We were the military. So when a bunch of people like Two Tone Tommy, which basically lied to everyone around him, had some of his boys go up to one of those sites, well, didn't work out so well. And I was all my sites were protected by security and stuff like that. It took a lot to take them down. So eventually, I guess they did, or they just got decommissioned. So anyway, whatever. I mean, the sign says "Do not enter," military or official use only, or military use only, and you blow through a checkpoint because they won't let you in. And well, it's not gold you see at the end of the road. But anyway, although they might have been firing gold bullets for all I know. Anyway, I don't really know. I just know what I had. So anyway, I mean, well, whatever. You're not supposed to go in there for a reason.